Hey guys, Carlos the Deviant here. As you clearly saw in the title, Will Smith is in the middle of controversy today. 2 days ago, he was casted for a movie, and people were not happy about it. Now, when you think about it, a lot of people think, well, they're not happy about it. How come? Is he not qualified enough? Is he not good enough for the role? Is there someone better for the role? But the shocking part is that it's due to racist matters. And but again, when you think of racist, you're thinking, oh, it's white people who do not want Will Smith to be part of this role. No, it's actual African Americans, minorities, and liberal Hollywood who are not happy with the idea of Will Smith playing the role of Richard Williams, who happens to be a black man in the upcoming biopic known as King Richard. Now, the thing when it comes to this issue is that I wasn't really paying attention to the issue because I'm not a big fan of sports. I don't really watch sports a lot. I would say that I just from time to time I do, go to the gym and stuff like that, but I'm not a big fan of sports. I don't watch football, I don't watch soccer, I don't watch tennis, I don't watch basketball. That's not my thing. So when I heard that they were making a biopic of King Richard, I was thinking, you know what? It could be good, but it's not a movie that I would want to see in theaters. I'll probably watch it when it's on Netflix or when it's on my cable box or something. So, but still, Will Smith is a good actor. I'm not gonna lie. Even though he gets political sometimes with the whole anti-Trump thing, I like his acting. He's a very good actor. I like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Very good show. Many good episodes that are really funny and still make me laugh. Others make me cry. I grew up with the Men in Black movies as well, watching Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones kicking butt in the Men in Black trilogy. And also, some dramas I would say are pretty good. I would say that I've seen a few, but I'm not a big fan of dramas to begin with. But one movie that always gets me emotional, also gets me really teary-eyed, is The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a very well-made film. Will Smith blows the role out of the water. Very phenomenal acting. And again, so I'm thinking to myself, why are people getting mad? Is it because they don't think he's qualified enough? I mean, the guy's a good actor. He goes from genres to genres. He's very good in comedies. He's good in action movies such as Men in Black. He's good in dramas. At the same time, he's also unfortunately he's not playing Deadshot in Suicide 2. But in Deadshot, while I didn't like the movie overall, Will Smith did the best that he could with the role, and it was still pretty decent compared to the very horrible made movie that was Suicide Squad, right? But we're not gonna get into that, all right? But I'm thinking to myself, why are people getting mad? And the thing is that they're mad because he's not black enough. They're mad because Will Smith is not black enough to play the role. And I'm thinking to myself, but wait, we're playing an African American, Richard Williams is a black man. He's an African American. So why are people getting mad that Will Smith, who also happens to be black, why are they getting mad? And they're getting mad because he's not black enough. And this is where I start to see how the left likes to turn on each other. Because while they preach social acceptance and diversity and social justice and open-mindedness, eventually they turn on each other. Will Smith was one of those people. He was one of the people that were saying that the Oscars were so white. Oscars, they always have white nominees. There's no diversity in the nominations. And now he's getting people are turning on him for not being black enough. But the thing though that bothers me the most is that they're not using racism to justify this type of discrimination. No, they're labeling it colorism. Not racism, but colorism. Now, what is colorism, you ask? I actually had to look it up because this is the first time I saw this term. But according, colorism is a form of prejudice or discrimination in which people are treated differently based on the social meanings attached to skin color. From what I get from this is basically racial stereotypes. Racial stereotypes, pretty much. Kind of like, for example, like me. Amongst the Hispanic community, I wouldn't say I'm the most Hispanic, I'm the most Mexican person ever. I'm from Mexican descent, sure. But I'm not the one who's going to openly wear a sombrero every chance I get. You know what I mean? But I guess that, in a way, that's what I consider colorism. At least that's what I'm getting it from. At least that's the impression that I'm getting, because it's the societal, the social meaning behind skin color. Based on my skin color, the social meaning would mean that I wear a poncho, I wear a sombrero, I would have the Mexican flag in my background. But no, and for me, that's something that's still racism. That's racism regardless. But they call it colorism because apparently colorism doesn't sound as bad as racism, and it's actually being used to justify this level of discrimination against Will Smith. Now, I'm reading two articles, one from IndieWire and then another one from Fox News, to see what's the reaction overall regarding this issue. And in the article of IndieWire, the title says, and I quote, "Will Smith's casting as Venus and Serena Williams' father sparks colorism backlash." And I'll continue. Will Smith is at the center of controversy following a report from Deadline that says he is attached to play Venus and Serena Williams' father and tennis coach Richard Williams in an epic biopic titled King Richard. I would say it's a pretty good title, King Richard. I mean, yeah, I think so. And I would think so, yeah. I'll continue. The spec script for the film, written by Zach Baylin, reportedly earned a lot of attention and was picked up by Tim White and Trevor White. Yeah, Trevor White, yeah. Pun, I guess. I don't know if the pun was intended, but anyways, no, let's keep going. It was picked up by Tim White and Trevor White to produce through their Star Thrower Entertainment banner. Smith is also producing through Overlook Entertainment. So Will Smith is not only in the lead role, but he's also producing the film as well. So again, why wouldn't this guy be be in the movie? Why are people complaining that he shouldn't be in the role? The guy is not only an actor, but he's also a producer, for Christ's sakes. I would say you would want a person who has more experience outside of the acting field as well. Not to mention you save money too, because you have to hire separate people. Now, going forward with the article, the story of Richard Williams is notable as he had no prior tennis experience before coaching Venus and Serena, and arguably two of the greatest tennis players in history. I'm not going to argue with that. While telling Williams' story may be exciting, the reported casting of Smith in the main role has led to backlash and accusations of colorism, aka racism amongst minorities, okay? Racism within minorities, sorry. Racism within minorities, that's colorism. That's what I'm getting from. Racism within minorities. Sports writer Clarence Hill Jr. went viral on social media after bringing attention to the casting, writing, and I quote, "Colorism matters. Love Will Smith, but there are other black people for this role." Clarence Hill Jr. was supported by the likes of film writers such as Valerie Complex. He described the casting as colorism at work. Okay, colorism at work. We're using the same term again. Okay? And George M. Johnson, who wrote Just Like Chadwick Boseman, who's a magnificent actor, by the way. Even before Black Panther, I watched movies like Marshall and 42. Magnificent guy. I don't know why. I remember I got mad when they were complaining about Chadwick playing Marshall. And he's a conservative Supreme Court. He was a conservative to begin with. So I got mad when saying, dude, I don't care. Chadwick is a good actor. He's a good actor. So why were you getting mad at this guy? But that's beyond the point. Our focus is on Will Smith. But like I said, George M. Johnson said, and who wrote, just like Chadwick Boseman shouldn't have played Thurgood Marshall, Will should not play Richard. So because Will is not black enough, you think that he should not play Richard Williams. Really, dude? Colorism describes, and this is what IndieWire describes colorism as, okay? Colorism describes prejudice or discrimination of same-race people based solely on skin color. So racism within your minority category. That's pretty much what it is. If I say about my sister saying, oh, my sister is not Mexican enough because she doesn't even eat tacos, that's racism. That's racism. But people will call it colorism because she is not Mexican enough. If my parents were to tell me, Carlos, you are not Mexican enough, you don't wear the ponchos that we get you, you don't like the sombrero, every time we go to parties you wear jeans, tennis shoes, and a t-shirt instead of wearing those, overly colorful, button-up shirts with the designs, with the designs, and you don't like to wear the leather boots that we got you, the botas and the cowboy hat. That's not racism. That's colorism, according to what IndieWire is explaining here. What is actually describing here. So basically, we're talking about same race racism, not colorism. Same race racism. Okay. So stop changing racism, because basically what you're saying is you're racist against your own people. Okay. Going forward with this. Many have pointed out the obvious that Smith's lighter skin tone does not match Richard Williams' darker skin tone. So what? It's a movie. We want a movie with a good actor that first of all is going to sell tickets and is actually going to care about the role. Will Smith, every movie that he's seen, that I've seen him in, it's clear that he loves the role. He enjoys the role. Even in Suicide Squad, well, the movie I believe was horrible, Will Smith looked like he was killing it in the role. I was never a fan of Deadshot in like the comics in DC, but with Suicide Squad, Will Smith made him a badass. Even though the movie was horrible, but Will Smith made him a badass. So you're saying that because he's not black enough, he shouldn't be in the role. Like, you're basically being racist, okay? And then, as Johnson pointed out, Chadwick Boseman faced similar backlash over his casting as Thurgood Marshall, okay? You know, Zoe Saldana's casting as Nina Simone in the biopic Nina was also met with colorism controversy. So, really? So, you know, because they're not black enough, it's okay to discriminate against them. But the thing is, though, is that these are minorities. Minorities criticizing other minorities. Had it been a white man saying Will Smith is not black enough to play Richard Williams, it would have been World War III. If a white man had said Chadwick Boseman or Boseman, I never really know how to pronounce the last name, but I'm just gonna address him as Chadwick. If someone said Chadwick is not black enough to play Thurgood Marshall, and if it was a white person saying it, what do you think would happen? Racist, bigot, slave owner, any name in the book, a Nazi. That's what they would call him. Same thing with Zoe Saldana. If it were white people saying this, it would have been like the Armageddon at this point. But since it's black people saying it, then it's okay. It's okay to be racist against your own people, as long as you fit that category, pretty much. That's what they're setting up here. Alright? So, and then, like I said, in the film, and then to finish up the article, in that film, darker makeup was applied to Saldana to say her lighter skin tone could match Simone's. So, pretty much, they're complaining because rather than being hired for your qualifications, you should be hired based on race. Now, I'm not saying we should have a white person play Richard Williams. I'm not saying it would have been better to have a white person play Thurgood Marshall. But what I'm saying is that if the role requires a person of color, for example, if a role, let's say in the movie of Mexico, requires a Mexican protagonist, I say fine. Get any actor who is of Mexican descent, have them audition for the part. You're not going to get a white person to play the role. Obviously, you're not going to get an Asian person or a Chinese person or a Japanese person to play a role of a Mexican protagonist. But you're going to get all the people who are of Mexican descent. You're going to have them audition. And within those people, you're going to decide who did the role the best. Who auditioned the best. Who has the better schedule. Who has the better acting capability. And who has the more name recognition. Because the thing is that that's how movies work. The whole point of making a movie is to make money, pretty much. That's what you want to do. And the money that you make in the movie is largely connected to the person who's starring in it, or the people starring in it. Okay? I doubt you would want to watch a movie of, let's say, I would say, I don't know, like say Bakersfield. A movie in Bakersfield, starring John Doe 1, John Doe 2, and John Doe 3. No one has heard of them. No one has heard their names. No one has seen them act. It's not a movie that's gonna sell. But if let's say you add a movie in Bakersfield regarding let's say people living in Bakersfield in the open countries, whatever, the movie starred let's say Megan Fox, Benedict Cumberbatch, Robert Downey Jr., Bradley Cooper. People would want to see the movie. They would. Why? Because they're actors that are known throughout the industry. They're actors that audiences are familiar with. And if the actor has a good resume of movies, they're more likely to be seen. They're more likely to be seen in the theaters. But in this case, they're saying that colorism is the reason why they do not want Will Smith to play the role. Now, in the case of the article from Fox News, the title is a little bit different, And I quote the title. Will Smith catches backlash for colorism after being cast as Venus and Serena Williams' father. Alright? And I'll keep on with the article. Actor Will Smith is catching serious backlash over colorism, racism against your own race, pretty much, for his lighter skin tone after being cast as Richard Williams, father of famed tennis stars Venus and Serena Williams. According to a report from Deadline, Smith will play Richard in the upcoming film King Richard. Based on a spec script by Zach Baylin, the film will tell the story of the 77-year-old Williams, who, despite having no formal tennis experience, overcame many hardships and a troubled past to raise and coach two of the greatest competitors to ever play the game. Alright? That seems like a good story that I would say it would be inspiring for many. Not just the African American community, but people in general. You know, but many people are making it a race issue now. You know, and I'll keep going. However, news of the casting was met with controversy on social media after reports writer Clarence Hill Jr. tweeted a rebuke of the news, noting that colorism, discrimination based solely on the color and tones of one's skin, was at work. Right? Colorism matters, he wrote, and I love Will Smith, but there are other black actors for the role. Same tweet from before. Same tweet from before. And, yeah, pretty much. And then another actor by the same, the same guy that I read earlier, George M. Johnson, same tweet, I'll read it again. Journalist George M. Johnson echoed those sentiments, saying, just like Chadwick shouldn't have played Thurgood Marshall, Will should not be playing Richard. Skin color matters in how folk were treated and navigate spaces. Is Alexandria Shipp playing Venus? Right? And then, again, and they're responding with sarcasm. They're saying that, oh, are we going to get more white people now or whatever? Lighter skin tone people? Of course we're not. Of course we're not. But like I said, I would rather have, let's say, for example, if they were going to make a movie about me, preferably I would prefer a Hispanic person. But out of the Hispanic person, out of all the Hispanic people that are auditioning, I don't care if they're lighter than me. I don't care if they're darker than me. If they can do the role well, that's who I want. That's who I want to play the role. And then I'm going to be reading you some tweets regarding the backlash, okay? And I'm going to be posting up I'm going to be inserting them into the video as well. That way you can see them as well, right? And this tweet is by Naisha, hashtag SXSW at Lanesha. Okay. Yeah, sorry, my glasses are really horrible. But anyways, so basically the tweet has a picture of other actors. Will Smith is in one of them, and also has other actors who I've never seen before. Actually, no. Yeah, the one Will Smith, I think the one on the left next to Will Smith is actually Richard Williams. But the other three I do not know. The other three I do not know. And that's the thing that many people don't see, is that if you see someone who's familiar, you're bound to pay attention. The three on the one on the bottom left, bottom right, and the top right, I had never even seen before. I never really heard of them. But here's a tweet that Naisha said. Obviously nothing against Will Smith, but why is he playing Venus and Serena's father? Yes, the man can act. Obviously he can. I mean, the guy's a magnificent actor. That's my quote. I mean, I stopped at that guy can act, right? But for the love of God, there are other dark-skinned black men that can act too. Point, I would say fair point, sure. But I mean, I don't think they're popular. Sure, you can act, but popularity also plays a big factor in this. It really does, especially in the movie industry. You want to sell tickets. You want to make your money back when producing the movie. And movies are they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Well, many say, well, $5 million budget is not a lot. In the movie industry, sure. But for an individual filmmaker, that's a lot of money. And you want to make sure you're able to get a good actor because you want to make that money back. You do not want to be a financial and commercial failure when it comes to the movie and generating revenue. Another person by the name of Curtis Schoon, at Curtis Schoon, he quotes, and he tweeted too, but I quote, Will Smith is tapped to play Richard Williams in King Richard, a biopic of Venus and Serena's dad. Maybe Ariana Grande can play Serena? Why not? And for this tweet, it's actually for me, it actually got me pretty mad. Because this guy's basically saying, well, okay, we're going to whitewashing roles now. And that's the thing that many people say, well, it's whitewashing roles. No, obviously we're not going to get Ariana Grande to play Serena. First of all, she's not black. And second of all, her acting sucks, okay? That's the thing. Her acting sucks. So I doubt someone would want to cast her like that. But what I'm saying is that if the role demands for, let's say, a black person, get a black actor. And within those black actors who want to audition, who want the role, pick the best one. Forget race. Forget the level of their skin color. Forget the darkness of their skin color. Forget how they act when they're not in front of the cameras. Forget the stereotypes. If the person really cares about the role and they're really putting it the role to literally get the to give the producers and the directors what they want, then by all means, get that person. It's clear that if they care enough about the role, they'll give it the role. In the case of Will Smith, I never really seen him get mad or do a very terrible job when it comes to his acting. The guy clearly cares about his job. He really cares about acting. And when it comes to getting a role, he takes it very seriously. He really does. But many people are saying that, oh, because he's not black enough, he shouldn't be in the role. No, I say he should. I say he should. First of all, many people are going to be more willing to watch it. And secondly, you're going to get a guy who really cares about the role. He's going to do a phenomenal job. Every time when I see a Will Smith movie, the thought never comes to my mind, oh, this movie's horrible. What? No, that never comes to my mind because I know Will Smith is a good actor. I know he's a good actor. So every time when I see a movie like, oh, Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith in Men in Black, Will Smith in Suicide Squad, I never doubt the roles. I never doubt them. And when I saw Pursuit of Happiness and I saw that it had Will Smith in it, the title didn't catch my attention, I would say, but it has Will Smith in it. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this a chance. He hasn't let me down before, so why am I gonna stop now? The movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, the first time I saw it was phenomenal for me. I still watch it from time to time, but again, that's the level of reputation this guy has. I have yet to see him fail in a movie, and if it's a very horrible movie, the acting that he does is not the problem in many cases. Even if it's a horror movie, his acting is still phenomenal. So why are we complaining about this now? Why are we complaining that he's not black enough for the role? I say take him, accept, deal with it. Accept the fact that he's playing this role, because I would and again, and these are minorities here. Minorities of the same colors, African American people saying this guy's not black enough. And the thing is that when it comes to representation, if you want to be represented, you need to be represented by the best people, okay? I doubt you would want, let's say, John Doe 1, who was an African American, a nobody that no one has ever heard of before, to play the role and then do such a terrible job that it literally like damages any other future films regarding African Americans, African American individuals. Okay, simple as that. You do not want that. And the thing is that if this movie's a success, it can encourage more Hollywood producers to say, you know what, we need to make more biopics of people of color. We need to do more biopics of minorities. But we need to make sure that we get the right people for the job. Forget the skin color. Well, skin color is an issue, sure. But again, forget about who's more Mexican, who's more black, who's more Chinese, who's more Japanese compared to the roles. No. If the script requires a Japanese character, a Japanese protagonist, fine. At that point, I would say race becomes an issue. It does. Because you need a Japanese person to play a Japanese character, right? But what I have a problem with is that you're willing to fire a very well talented person and choose someone who's more Japanese even though they have zero talent. No joke. That's the problem that I have. You're willing to fire Will Smith, a very great actor, a very well, I would say ranged in his acting, from comedies to dramas to action films. All right, he has a large range. The fact that you're willing to have this guy removed from the film because he's not black enough for you is something that I consider really pathetic, and that's racism, not colorism. Forget colorism, racism. You're being racist against your own people, and yet you have the audacity to, to complain about racism, outside of the political, outside of Hollywood. Okay, so that's the problem that I have. Will Smith, I say let him be, let him do the role. If he does a good job, by all means. I doubt he will do a terrible job because he's a good actor. He has never let me down in any of his movies. Okay, but like I said, people are labeling it colorism now, and that's the thing that I have a problem with. Colorism, it's racism. The only difference is that it's against your own people, and it's okay. It's okay, as from what I'm seeing right now. It's okay to discriminate against your own people because you're not being racist. You're being a colorist. You're not a racist. You're a colorist. If my mom tells me, oh, you're not Mexican enough, to go to this party, you're not Mexican enough to celebrate Independence Day, Mexican Independence Day, then she's being a colorist. Not a racist, a colorist. Okay? That's the problem that I have. So like I said, let me know what you think. Do you think Will Smith should keep the role? Do you think that these people also have a point? Do you think that they should get a darker actor, probably who's not even as good as Will Smith to play the role? Someone who's probably not even as well known as Will Smith to play the role? Let me know what you think. But do you think that colorism is just another way to say racism, but try to make it sound okay because it is, it is within the same race, Black people can be racist against black people, but it's called colorism. No, it's racism. Plain and simple, alright? Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. Like the video, dislike the videos. Do anything you want. You don't have to subscribe at all. But let me know what you think. Do you think that despite Will Smith's efforts to be, incredibly liberal and do all this stuff, do you believe that the people he advocates for are not turning against him over this role? Okay? So, until next time, you guys, this has been Carlos the Deviant. Stay awesome.
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it when you want. Of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?